Ladies and gentlemen, this one is an absolute bombshell. A bombshell. It's more of a bombshell than dropping a thermonuclear device on the world's largest chicken coop. I can't think of any better metaphor. The United States appears to have, for some insane reason, adopted the same eyes wide open justice system. Nakedly partisan, non-justice system, right? Non-justice. Like Mel Gibson says in The Patriot. I used to think there was justice in the world. I used to think that. But now I realise the only justice you get is the justice you take. American justice does not exist. You may remember seeing the footage of a father dragged out of a school board meeting aggressively and being arrested because, well, he wasn't really doing anything illegal. He was being somewhat rude and somewhat outspoken with his criticism of the school board. And this happened to him. Note that the parents were cheering. The parents were cheering him. He hadn't done anything wrong. He hadn't assaulted anyone. He'd been a little bit rude to the school board because the school board are failing utterly. It's not a criminal offence. There is no law or legislation in the United States of America that says speech has to always be polite. It's nailed on this. It's not merely my opinion. They have a written constitution in the United States of America. They have freedom of assembly and speech, First, Second Amendment, the big ones. There is no legal requirement for an outraged parent to be polite to the slimy shitbags that make up his local school board. And this is where it gets interesting. The man was arrested because the school board, I shit you not, ladies and gents, the school board allegedly, I have to be careful because it's an ongoing legal case, obviously, allegedly protected a rapist who sexually assaulted his daughter in the bathroom at school. Yep, clean your ears out, you heard me right. Apparently, Mr. Smith was very angry for the following reason. And bear in mind, this is ABC News. I'm not getting this off some blog or some conspiracy website. This is mainstream news. It's factual. It actually occurred. There is an ongoing legal struggle.
At 6 o'clock and only on 7 News, a father opening up about his daughter allegedly being assaulted while in a Loudoun County public school bathroom.
Yeah, he and other parents now are demanding answers on how the district is keeping their kids safe. And as I-Team reporter Scott Taylor reports, law enforcement connects the student arrested with another attack at another Loudoun school.
Seriously, did you hear that? Law enforcement has confirmed the student who was quietly moved schools after a sexual assault at Scott Smith's daughter's school is being investigated again for a second rape at a different school. See, flabbergasted yet? I know I am.
That's 48-year-old Scott Smith of Leesburg, Virginia, being arrested in June at a school board meeting at Loudoun County Public Schools.
My family had just unfortunately been pulled into this nightmare.
Smith says he attended the board meeting looking for answers after a male student wearing a skirt was arrested for allegedly sexually assaulting his daughter in a school bathroom back in May.
So you've heard that right. Yeah, this is all on the record. A male student wearing a skirt sexually assaulted his daughter in the women's bathroom and was arrested and interviewed by the police. Yeah, and what, pray tell, did the school board do about it?
County Sheriff's Department does confirm with the I-Team that a sexual assault did happen here at Stonebridge High School in a bathroom. The incident happened more than a month before Scott Smith showed up at the school board meeting. Earlier this month, a Sheriff's Department tweet detailed another alleged assault by the same student at Broad Run High School.
How could have you allowed this alleged sexual predator to return to a Loudoun County public school before the court was even wrapped up with our court situation?
We went looking for answers from school district superintendent.
You don't need to hear the rest of it. You don't. Because we know what the school board's going to say. It's the same partisan, nakedly partisan, savagely political, disgraceful ineptitude. In fact, not ineptitude, because they've done it on purpose. Disgraceful, politically motivated justice. Small j. Justice from radical leftists and communists, the exact same as in the UK, where we had decades of torture, rape, molestation, abuse, and murder. There was at least one death where a girl was doused in petrol that was swept under the rug and ignored by the civil servants, by the upper echelons of the police, and by the British government. And they ignored it because the people that perpetuated these monstrous crimes happened to look a certain way. You know it, and I know it. Yes, the justice system wasn't fair in the past. Of course, it wasn't blind back then. But just because justice wasn't blind in the 70s and people that had a bit of a tan may have been more harshly treated, doesn't mean you rectify this by now having an aggressively partisan justice system the other way. That's not justice. It wasn't justice then. It isn't justice now. To allow a possible rapist to quietly move schools and attempt to brush it under the rug because you are a rampant ideologue and think that you've got to do everything in your power to help a student that identifies as something other than male is despicable. Despicable, disgraceful, outrageous. The court case hadn't even been wrapped up. The accusations were credible. He's been arrested twice. And they quietly moved him schools and brushed it under the table. And when the father, outraged father, understandably outraged, turned up to the school board to say, what the ever-loving fuck are you lunatics doing? They had him beaten up and wrestled to the ground by the police. This should be a national and international scandal. They are allowing children to be raped because they like the politics of the rapist. Absolutely staggering. So I'm sorry to say, my fellow Americans, we have imported the exact same insanity that was being peddled in the United Kingdom. If you're a rapist, if you're a killer, if you're a torturer, it's the exact same with the police officer that got off with shooting an unarmed lady in the face on Capitol Hill, while Derek Chauvin got 30 years for what was obviously manslaughter. It's the exact same thing. Justice is not blind. She wears a BLM hat and flies the big pink flag. This should be an international story. It's absolutely fucking outrageous, and no child is safe in the American school system when we have a nakedly partisan civil service. These fucking people want the book thrown at them. Somebody should be jailed for this. And if one and they just better pray something like this doesn't happen to me or mine. Because I'll tell you what, I don't think the angry Bootneck would be able to merely mete out a bit of harsh language and feel as if justice had been served. Disgraceful. I will leave a link so you can read the whole story yourselves. It's a tragedy to see the United States has gone down the same rabbit hole we have. Partisan justice. Like we're living, it's like apartheid South Africa in reverse. Unbelievable. There's a few more rage holes punched in my desk. I'll see you guys very soon. Cheers.